Icy waters, impenetrable walls, and the most notorious criminals, Alcatraz, a prison island forged in despair. Yet, on a single night, 3 men vanished. A daring escape or a carefully crafted illusion? Before European explorers arrived, Native American tribes used an island in San Francisco Bay called Alcatraz. But its most famous part began in the middle of the 1800s, when the U.S. military realized how important it was strategically and started building forts on it to protect the San Francisco Bay Area. In 1868, Alcatraz was chosen as the site of a military jail that would mostly hold prisoners from the Civil War. Over time, it got a bad name for having hard conditions and dangerous prisoners. The federal government turned Alcatraz into a maximum security federal prison in 1934, during the time of Prohibition and the rise of organized crime. Because it was in a remote area with cold, fast-moving water all around it, people called it the Rock. The goal was to make a jail that was hard to get out of because of where it was located and how well it was guarded. Some of the most known thieves of the time lived in the jail, which got a scary image as a last option for the most difficult inmates. Frank Morris, a smart and cunning prisoner who had a history of getting out of other prisons successfully, came up with the plan. Along with the experienced bank robber brothers Anglin, he carefully planned a way to break into the jail and take advantage of its weak spots. The process of planning how to get out of Alcatraz was very careful and thorough. Frank Morris, Clarence Anglin, and John Anglin carefully studied the layout of the jail for months, looking for holes in the security system and making a plan that would give them the best chance of succeeding. The habits of the guards, the tide times around Alcatraz Island, and the building of the jail were all looked into. They were very smart and clever, so they came up with a plan to trick the guards during bed checks by making fake heads, a raft, and life jackets out of raincoats, and they dug the tunnel behind their cells using spoons and other oddities. Every part of the escape plan was carefully thought out and carried out exactly as planned. On the dark and lonely island of Alcatraz, on the foggy night of June 11, 1962, a risky plan was put into action. Frank Morris, Clarence Anglin, and John Anglin, Clarence's brother, were among the prisoners who managed to escape. They had spent months carefully planning their escape. The guards were making their rounds around the jail when the 3 men started their plan. They began what would become one of the most famous attempts to escape in history. Under the cover of darkness and thick fog that covered the island, the prisoners moved. They were determined to prove that Alcatraz wasn't as strong as people said it was. The way Morris, Clarence, and John came up with a way to escape was nothing short of brilliant. The prisoners carefully chipped away at the air ducts in their cells using a range of homemade tools made from things they found around the jail, such as spoons, old saw blades, and even a drill made from a vacuum cleaner motor. They slowly widened the holes over the course of several months until they were big enough to fit through. Trial and error helped them get better at what they were doing, and they were careful to keep the guards from seeing their progress. As soon as the holes were big enough, the prisoners used soap, toilet paper, and human hair from the jail barber shop to make fake heads. It was important to carefully place these fakes in their beds so that it looked like they were still asleep during the nightly head counts. The prisoners were ready to act on the night of June 11, 2018, because they had planned their escape and set up their fake prisoners. When guards did their regular cell checks in the morning of June 12, 1962, they saw that Frank Morris, Clarence Anglin, and John Anglin were not there. When looked at more closely, it was clear that the prisoners had carefully planned their escape. Following the finding, law enforcement agencies acted right away, starting one of the largest manhunts in American history. Many ideas and stories have been made about what happened to the people who escaped from Alcatraz. Some people thought that the prisoners drowned in the dangerous waters of San Francisco Bay because they couldn't handle the strong currents and cold weather. Others believed that the prisoners might have made it to the shore before hiding to evade capture by law enforcement. Over the years, people said they saw or met the freed prisoners, but none of these reports were proven to be true. Even now, no one knows what happened to Frank Morris, Clarence Anglin, and John Anglin. This has led to a lot of mystery and gossip. It doesn't matter if they found freedom or a grave in the water, their story still rings through the rock. The answers might be lost in the island's secrets, or they may have been washed away by the tides, leaving only a story as big as the ocean. Do let us know about your thoughts in the comments section below.